Manchester United fans should be excited. What do I mean by this? Well, let's be real. As an Arsenal fan, the last decade has not been particularly successful. You can say the same about Manchester United, but a club the size of Manchester United going a decade without major honours, without winning a Premier League, without winning a Champions League is way too long for a club the size of Manchester United. And things have been a laughing stock. They've been the banter FC. They've been the ones that everybody's been pointing the finger at and pointing the fun at. But I think it's time for Manchester United fans to start getting a little bit excited. I've looked at the last couple of weeks and I've been very impressed by the early signs. There is a new structure in place. Everybody knows that Manchester United now are going to be run very, very different. You look at Jim Ratcliffe coming in and what's happened since then, bringing in the likes of Dan Ashworth, bringing in head of the recruitment team along with Omar Barada and obviously Jason Wilcox, bringing in Christopher Vivell for recruitment. This is a different new look Manchester United now. And already we're starting to see that they're starting to look like they are trying to act like the proper club that they should have been doing for the last few years. Now, we've seen Manchester United spend a hell of a lot of money. It's never been about the Glazers not stumping up the cash. They've spent a lot of money, but look at what they've spent it on. It has been an embarrassment. The recruitment has been shambolic. The money that was spent bringing Cristiano Ronaldo back, bringing in players like Casemiro and Varane, who, let's be real, have won everything in the game, but weren't really the right options for the future of the club. Bringing in the likes of Anthony for a hell of a lot of money, Harry Maguire for even more. It's crazy to think that they've gone for that style, but now I believe things are starting to change. We're looking at Omar Barada coming in. We're looking at Dan Ashworth. These are footballing men. These are people that know what they are doing. And although I don't have the faith in Ten Hag and still feel that he's yet to prove himself, I don't think that they will be looking at Christmas and saying, do you know what? I know that we're 10th, but Ten Hag's here to stay. He's going to be under pressure. If they don't look like they're going to be looking at Champions League football at the bare minimum, I don't think these footballing men will be afraid to pull the plug on Ten Hag. And that's why I think you should be excited if you're a Manchester United fan, because the players that you're still able to attract, the money you're able to spend, the footballing men behind the scenes now, I think it's only heading for one way, and that's success. And that's worrying for some of the other rival clubs. And I think it should be. Surrounding Manchester United at the moment is positive vibes. And that's exactly what the fan base needs and what the rival fan base do not need. And listen, actions speak louder than words. Of course they do. But when you look at what Manchester United have done, surely it can't get a hell of a lot more worse. When you've got the players that and the telepathy between management, player and structure at the club, that's when you're leading to success. You only have to look at Manchester City and Chelsea over the last 2 decades to see how that can become a successful structure at a football club. And that's exactly what Manchester United have now got. I'm worried. I'm not worried because Arsenal aren't going to be successful. I'm sure that we will be as well. But if you look at Arsenal, Manchester United are a huge football club and can attract anybody to the football club. Manchester United have been able to get some of the best players in world football when they were in a terrible position in the Premier League. Where could they go if they was to go in the right direction? That could be a worry for rival fan bases. And I've got to say this. I actually think Manchester United could be back quicker than what people think if this structure works and if it goes into place as quickly as they'd like it to. I believe in 2 seasons, Manchester United could be title challenging. I've said it. The reason I've said it is because they've got the money to do it. They've got the transfer windows, 4 of them, to do it in. They don't, in my opinion, have anybody in that head of football, recruitment team, new structure, new regime that doesn't seem to know what they're doing. They've all come from very, very successful parts of their life, very successful businessmen, very successful footballing men. I think this could work. And Manchester United fans, they should be excited, but also they've got to pray that it works. There will be 100%, no doubt in my mind, that Manchester United will get there and they will get back under this structure. I just think there's a lot of fans that are too scared to say it. There's a lot of people that are believing that this might not work because of Ten Hag. Well, trust me, if Ten Hag isn't good enough, they'll get rid of him. If there's no style of play again implemented, they'll get rid of him. Now let's talk about some of the comments that you've heard today. Fabrizio Romano, if you saw the tweet from Fabrizio Romano around the Dan Ashworth comments, the Manchester United director Dan Ashworth has said the following: "This remains one of the biggest football clubs in the world. The focus is on getting back to being among the best on the pitch. Together with Omar Barada and his new leadership team, we will not rest until we have achieved it." And that, to me, has the ambition to go to the very, very top. And it seems to me that they have the confidence to understand how this football club can get there. Now, look at Manchester United. It is a unbelievable football club. It is one of the biggest in the world, no doubt. But it hasn't acted like it in the last few years. It hasn't had the stadium that it used to. Old Trafford is falling down. All that song was laughable. A manager hasn't been good. The managers haven't been good since Fergie. The structure hasn't been in place. The Glazers have stumped up the cash, but had no real plan or understanding of what they were doing and how they were supposed to be giving people those positions and the money to spend and put Manchester United back to the very top. And it hasn't worked. But I would believe that if I was a Manchester United fan right now, I'd be excited to know that these guys know what they're doing and that they can get them back to the very best. Now let's look at the playing staff. In my opinion, 80% of them will probably be gutted out over the next coming windows. And we've seen with Manchester United that they've always been happy to spend money. With Arsenal, in comparison to what our Mikel Arteta has done, he's built over the last few seasons, the last few transfer windows, a team that is now ready and capable of competing for a title. Manchester United, I don't think have to wait that long. And I really do not feel that we'll be in a position in 5 or 6 years' time where we'll be looking similar to what Arsenal are saying, can the manager get them across the line? I think Manchester United could be back, people. I really do. And I'm not just saying that to try and do any form of reverse psychology. I'm not doing it because I'm an Arsenal fan and I like Man United, the old days. Nothing like that. I don't like the football club. I'm an Arsenal fan. I do not like what I'm seeing at Manchester United because I think it could be good for the club. And that is not what I like to see. We've seen early days and early signs already in the transfer window that they're moving mad in this window. They're trying to be a proper club again. They're acting like the Manchester United of old. Putting in a bid and having the balls to say, look, we're going to go for Lenny Yoro. We know that there's links and rumours to Real Madrid, but we're going to go for him. That is something that I think is proper club football. We don't care about Real Madrid. We're a big club too. Let's go in with the cash and let's get him in. And do you know what? It got accepted and he's now a Manchester United player. Now, that's not going to win Manchester United the league. In fact, that one signing alone is not going to even put him in a title race. But it's the just first early signs that they mean business. Being linked with De Ligt, going in for Jared Branthwaite, being linked with Mark Guehi, and other opportunities for players that they've been linked with now all of a sudden. Manuel Ugarte being linked. Looking at players that they're getting rid of. Players like Wan-Bissaka, Harry Maguire, Johnny Evans, Varane, Casemiro, Lindelof, all being said, you've got no futures here. That's music to Manchester United fans' ears. They do not want those players clogging up the squad because they've not been good enough. And then when you look at some of the incomings that they're linked with and that they've brought into the door, you're starting to understand very quickly where they're going here. They're building a foundation at the back. They're getting their centre-backs in that are going to be upgrades to the Maguires and Evans and Lindelofs of this world, that the players I've just mentioned previously. And in the midfield now, that Manchester United midfield could bang. If Ugarte comes in and starts showing the form that we all know he can, Bruno Fernandes will be complemented and benefit from that. And Kobbie Mainoo is only going to grow alongside two midfielders that know what they're doing. That could be a really good midfield from Manchester United's perspective. With Joshua Zirkzee and Højlund, you've got two raw talents there. But if they were to complement each other, Manchester United could see themselves scoring a lot more goals, which is something they definitely needed to improve upon last season. So I think Manchester United could bang. Now, it might not be this season. I'm not saying Manchester United fans should be excited because of this season they're going to be title challenging. That's not what this video is about. This video is just the beginning. I feel personally that Manchester United's journey is going to be a very successful one in the next couple of years. And I hope, trust me, that I'm wrong. Because there's nothing I like more than laughing at Manchester United as an Arsenal fan, right? And I'm sure there's nothing that Man United fans love more than laughing at how it's gone wrong for Arsenal in the last decade or so. But trust me, I am scared that Manchester United might actually be back quicker than what people imagine. Now, people might look at Ten Hag and think he's the main issue. If he is, I think this structure will get rid of him and pull the plug. If it is the structure that is confident enough that it can get Manchester United to the next level, I believe if they appoint the right manager and work alongside them, I think Manchester United could actually get themselves and find themselves back in title races and winning major honours sooner than what people think. Let's think about it. You have to spend 150 to 200 million in the two summer windows. That's 400 million at top. If you went in with another 50 million in the January transfer windows, that's 500 million spent. Put 500 million pounds on top of the Manchester United side. And you add Bruno Fernandes and you add Rashford if they can get him back to his best. You add Kobbie Mainoo into that and the players that they've actually signed already in this window. Manchester United could be back. There's players that people have forgotten about that perhaps the new structure might look a little bit better under. Marcus Rashford being one of them. Mason Mount, we haven't seen much from him. If Amrabat is staying, could he show the form that he did in the World Cup and at Fiorentina? We don't know. If Jadon Sancho was to stay, can they get him back to his old ways? These are all question marks at the moment. But for me, I think they've got footballing men in charge now that know what they're doing. And I think it's scary. I think it's potentially worrying for rival clubs. And if Manchester United can get this right, they've got everything else in place. The big club, the global fan base, the fan base that, let's be real, will follow them all around the world. If they can get their stadium right and they actually show a little bit more love and passion and desire into that structure that's now been put in place and implemented, I honestly believe Manchester United could go to the very, very top again. And that for me is worrying.